Okay, and are we there with John from the Speedies?
Yes, that's me.
All right, John, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yay! We are so excited to be speaking with you this evening, John. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad you guys like our music so much. It means a lot to us.
Oh my God, we are the hugest fans ever. Woo!
Yeah, this is, I mean, I just cannot believe we're talking to someone from the Speedies. This is crazy.
Yes, and we were speaking with John, the bass player from the Speedies, and I understand you also have another band, the Beat Killers. How's that going?
It's going pretty good. We play around Los Angeles. We just finished recording an album with that was produced by Dave Klein from the Ghastly Ones. I don't know if you know the Ghastly Ones.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a good friend of mine, and he lives in my same neighborhood, and he produced our record, and we just put it out on iTunes. It's available.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've been listening to you guys online, and I really like it. It's awesome.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much. Thank you. We play around in L.A. and up and down the cities in the West Coast, so hopefully we'll be in your town one of these days.
Yeah, so when's your next show in L.A.?
We're playing in Fullerton next weekend, actually, at the Tropics Lounge, next Saturday, the 13th.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, we spend a lot of time in L.A., so we'd love to check you guys out. Are the Speedies doing anything these days?
No, actually, we did a reunion show in Brooklyn about a year ago at the Radio Heartbeat Power Pop Festival.
Yeah, woo! Yeah, we were just... It's funny because we were just looking at a magazine from that Power Pop Festival. That was really cool. I had the opportunity to go to the last Power Pop Festival, which was in Austin, Texas, but I did not make it out to the Heartbeat Radio Power Pop Festival.
The Radio Heartbeat Festival was awesome. It was really fun. First of all, we hadn't played together in, it must have been 25 years or something like that.
Oh, really?
And we sold out the show. And there was like 4 nights of bands, and ours was the only one that sold out. And it was in Brooklyn, and that's where the band started. I live in Los Angeles now, but I grew up in Queens, and the rest of the guys in the band are all from Brooklyn.
But you guys have a reputation for that, for selling out shows.
Yeah, we were quite popular back then. It was a lot of fun. I mean, things are different now. You know, back then it just seemed to be, I don't know, it was just, every club was just totally packed out, and the audience wasn't so fragmented. Like now, you know, you have bands, if you're rockabilly, you don't like garage. If you're garage, you don't like surf, and, you know, or blah, blah, blah. Back then it was just like,
too cynical.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people going out to shows anymore, it seems like, these days. There's not as much of a scene, you know, only in major areas, you know, maybe in New York and L.A. and San Francisco, but, you know.
And then the problem with those places is that there's too much competition because there's so many shows going on.
Exactly.
You don't know which one to go to.
And then there's so many amazing bands that don't get any attention.
I know, it's a shame.
And
it really is.
Didn't you guys have a reputation for being the #1 band not signed to a label, something like that?
Yeah, we were actually voted as the #1 unsigned band by New York Rocker magazine, which was it was a local fanzine, but it was pretty high quality. It was kind of there were 3 or 4 papers out in the punk scene. One was Punk Magazine, and then there was New York Rocker, and then the LA Weekly and Soho News. Those were like where everybody got their information about the music scene in those days. And they voted us the best unsigned band in America.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, though we would have rather been signed.
Yeah.
The band broke up prematurely because, I was the oldest member of the band at the time. I was 21. When we were out playing and we were popular, our drummer was 15.
You guys are some youngsters, I know. You guys like 17, 16.
The 2 guitar players were 16. And so the band actually kind of broke up when they had to go off to college. That's what it was all about.
Oh, really? Huh.
Were you bummed?
I was, for sure, yeah. But, looking back at it now, they all have amazing careers. I don't know if you have followed what any of the Speedies are doing these days, but
tell us.
Gregory Crutzen, the rhythm guitar player, he's a famous photographer. He actually has some of his prints hanging up in the L.A. Museum.
Wow.
And he's also a professor at Yale.
Oh my God.
goodness.
I'm not kidding. And then Eric, the other guitar player, was a software developer for Apple, and he helped invent QuickTime.
All right.
Whoa.
It gets better. The drummer, Supreme Court judge in Brooklyn.
Wait, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
The drummer Alan is a Supreme Court judge in the borough of Brooklyn.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness! Really? Wow.
So I take it you've kept in touch
I work
with
at
them?
Warner Brothers Film Studios. I'm in financial operations.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
But you're
And our singer John, he's retired. Actually, he was working for New York Telephone for many years, and now he's in Vegas taking it easy.
So are you like the only one still keeping rock and roll alive and keeping it going?
Yes, I am, and I have never stopped. It's been one big long succession of bands since I was 17 or so. I've been in like a lot of bands. I was in the Fuzztones for a while when we were signed to RCA, and I toured Europe extensively, about 10 times over a course of 5 years with them. Then I came back and I played with Phil Sylvain from the New York Dolls. I was in his band for a long time, and I played on his last solo record before the Dolls got back together. And then I was playing in this band called the Hexers, which had a couple of pretty cool underground records. Golly G Records was the label, and they were pretty intense garage band. They wore like voodoo masks, like tribal masks on stage, and it was really funny. And now I'm playing with the Beat Killers. I had a couple other bands in between here and there. I played with Rick Elric for a while too. He's a pretty seminal punk rocker in Los Angeles. He's no longer with us, so he passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how did this, well, you said it's been about 20, 25 years that you guys hadn't played, and then all of a sudden
How did it come back together?
Yeah, I mean,
what was it like?
What was up with the Power Pop Festival? I mean, what was so intriguing about that?
Because of the commercial. Did you hear? You knew about the Hewlett-Packard commercial?
Yeah, let me take your photo.
Well, what happened, it was really odd. I came home from work one day, and my wife said there was a message on the answering machine, and it was something about somebody wanting to use our song in a commercial. And so I listened to the message, and it turned out to be, oddly enough, it was Keith Morris, the singer from the Circle Jerks.
Oh, my God. We interviewed him. Woo.
He worked at a label, and he was working with a younger band called The Adored. And they were trying to get the Adored some work in commercials, and the agency that they work with had a call for a commercial about photographs for Hewlett-Packard. And somebody that worked at the label grew up in Brooklyn and remembered the Speedies song, and I think he went and bought a copy of it on eBay, and they taught it to the Adored, and then they brought it back to Hewlett-Packard, and they listened to it, and they go, yeah, we like the song, but we like the original guy better. See if you can get the rights to that. And so Keith Morris looked at the cover, and he recognized me from around town, and he looked me up in the phone book and called me, and then they put me in touch with the agency, and they put out the commercial. And then the commercial did really well, and it kind of brought us back into visibility, and that's when Radio Heartbeat contacted me about putting out the compilation record. And we put out, we dug up the master tapes. At first, we only could find the master tapes for the 4 singles, and then the other stuff we had with demos that were never put out. We only had like a copy of them. We didn't have the master tapes. So the original stuff that we put out on iTunes, that is not remixed and remastered. After we got in touch with Radio Heartbeat, we got in touch with the original producer who did the demos in Canada, and he had the master still, so we were able to remaster everything. So the Radio Heartbeat collection is higher quality than the other stuff that was originally on iTunes, and now we've just put the Radio Heartbeat stuff out on iTunes, and that's coming out any day now. It's already on Amazon.com.
Oh, cool. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's the Speedy Delivery record, and it has an added bonus. It has a whole live concert that was from 1980. We played at the Bottom Line in New York City, and it was broadcast live over NYU radio. And somebody recorded it for us, and luckily we have it. We put it on there as a bonus, so it's pretty cool.
All right, cool.
So what do you think of the commercial?
Oh, I loved it.
I know, me
would have
too.
played it more. The strangest thing, I was shopping at Target one day, and they had a wall of televisions, and I'm like looking for something for my stepson, and all of a sudden I look up, and the commercial was on every single television, and the song was playing. And it was on some kind of a loop, because we were shopping for like a half an hour, and it just kept going on and on. I was like, this is really weird.
I bet. What was that like? I mean, was that really cool to, hear your music out at shopping at Target?
Yeah, and then what's even weirder is I just started getting, calls out of the blue from people I haven't spoke to in like 30 years. They're like, oh my God, I just saw your song on TV. And then after that, I don't know if you guys know about Jay Leno. I guess somebody from the Jay Leno show saw one of the commercials and liked the song, and then they contacted us, and they've been using it about once a month. They have a skit called The Photo Booth, and it's like a candid camera thing, and people go into the photo booth, and the photo booth tells them to do silly things, and they play our song every time they do that skit.
Oh my gosh. They still do that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So we've been getting extra little bonus checks in the mail, and that's really nice. Cause
yeah, those royalties coming in.
It is. Oh boy. The commercial bought my wife a new car.
All right. That's so awesome. That's so cool. So any hope you think at all that you guys would, you hear there's another Power Pop Festival possibly in the works for 09?
We would love to. In fact, I did speak to the promoters about that show in Texas, but they couldn't, when they would, to go to the one that you went to, but they couldn't afford, because they were flying in the boys from England, so they didn't have enough money. Because the Speedies were all over the country now. I mean, John's in Vegas, I'm in L.A., the rest of the three guys are still on the East Coast. And when we did the Power Pop Festival in Brooklyn, they flew me and John out. And not only did they do that, but they flew us to Vegas. We all met in Vegas for a week to rehearse. We hadn't played together in 25 years.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So, we just went and rehearsed like 8 hours a day for a week, and then flew out to New York and did the show.
And so what was it like to play together again?
Really weird, because it just all came right back to us. It was like, really, it was like riding a bicycle.
I was about to say that. Was it like riding a bicycle? Cool.
It really was. It was bizarre. It just all came together. I mean, the other guys were a little rusty at first, but they still had it. I mean, because they hadn't been playing for a long time. I mean, they had to, go out and get new equipment and stuff. Greg still had the same guitar, and it was in mint condition that he had way back then. And now, it was like a $200 Fender Strat back then, and now it's like a $3,000 Fender Strat. But Eric went down to the basement to get his guitar out, and he hadn't used it in so long that the frets were rusted. Oh my gosh. And the strings were rusted, and it was unusable. So I had to point him in the right direction of what guitar would be closest to what he was playing back then, and what kind of fuzz box he needed and all that thing. And so he went out and got a new guitar at the Guitar Center, and then flew into Vegas, and we practiced, and it was just so much fun. And then doing it in Vegas was a lot of fun too, because then we would go out to nice dinners afterwards, and then we were all going to the casinos and having a blast. It was walking down Fremont Street, and then we took some pictures of the guys, and it was just so weird,
I bet, huh? After that one.
Well, I mean, for a long time nobody knew that much about the band, and I always told my wife, the Speedies was my best band. I swear, Speedies. And the fact that she finally got to see us live, she was blown away,
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, do you guys still have that connection? Do you still have the passion to go out and do it again? I mean, do you think everybody would come together and come out?
Well, everybody would. I know Greg's the one who's the most busy, because he flies all over the world and does art openings, and sometimes he's in England or he's in France, and he's not as available. He actually didn't come to Vegas to rehearse with us, and just actually practiced on his own, and just came to one rehearsal with us before the reunion. So he was a little nervous before the gig, because it was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But he brought in a lot of people. I mean, there was so many photography fans that I couldn't even believe it.
Wow.
Really?
And I went to one of his art openings here in Beverly Hills, and it was packed, and there were movie stars there, and I'm like, this is just so bizarre. It's my bandmate over here.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I'm proud of them. Very proud of them. All of the guys. I mean, you know, they're all great people, and we're all still in touch, you know. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, I've been in so many bands where you hate the guys in the band after a while, especially after a tour or something. But we're all still friends. We all still call each other, write to each other. Every time I go to New York, I stay at Alan's house in Brooklyn, and, you know, he's got a beautiful brownstone overlooking the Brooklyn Bridge and the Statue of Liberty, and I hang out there with my wife, and I go out for bagels, and we go out to Chinatown. You know, in fact, we had a tradition, Speedies, after every gig we ever did at Max's, the entire band would go out to dinner at Wohop, because it was this Chinese restaurant that would be open all night. So we'd be there at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Cool.
So after the Radio Heartbeat show, that's what we did. We went to Wohop.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, we would love to see you guys. Oh, come on, just for Emily and I, we need a chance to see you guys.
We would do it if somebody would pull it together, you know. We would definitely be there. I mean, I thought Radio Heartbeat was going to have another festival, but they didn't end up pulling it together. But, you know, we would definitely be into doing it. But, you know, just like one show here or there or something like that, or, you know, maybe... So if you guys do hear of anybody putting together a Power Pop Festival in the near future, definitely have them keep us in mind.
Well, there's a little rumor going around that possibly, just maybe, keep your fingers crossed, Mike Hooker from Rock Around Entertainment just might be putting on another Power Pop Festival in 09. So,
and where?
Well, he doesn't know for sure. This last year, he did it in Austin, Texas. But I'm not sure where he plans on holding the festival, or if he plans on holding the festival this year. But in 09, there's talk about him doing another festival. And, I mean, the last Power Pop Festival in Austin, Texas was amazing. The boys, as you said, they came out and played, and they're one of my all-time favorite bands in the whole world. And, wow, it was just so incredible. Do you love the boys? I love them, too. Oh, they're so amazing.
I have their alternative Chartbusters LP on vinyl.
Oh, wow. That's a collector's item.
I have all my 45s, all my records. I have like 20 boxes of 45s with the picture sleeves from the old days. I mean I have like all the punk 45s. I got all the original Ramones stuff.
That's
so
cool.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I'm a big record collector still. I went to a record store today, and I came home with a couple of records.
Oh, right.
Vinyl.
Right on. Nothing like vinyl.
Do you know if the previous, the other members of the Speedies, if they still listen to this kind of music, like just for fun?
Yeah, I know Eric does for sure.
Okay.
I know Eric does. John's a little bit. John the singer's a little bit more. You know, he listens to more. I know he likes like dance music and stuff like that. You know. But I know that Alan was always more of the rocker guy. He was the drummer. He used to have the long hair. He was always into Kiss when we were younger. So you know, he still likes that kind of stuff more. But Eric and Greg, you know, Greg was kind of like the REM kind of guy, and Eric was the pure Beatles kind of fan. And
all right.
I like everything. Even back then, I was like kind of like a retro guy. I was like, you know, into the 50s stuff, but I was into Ricky Nelson when I was younger, you know, like he was the first teenage pop star.
Well, that sounds like some great diversity.
I know, that's cool that you guys were able to come together and this is the music you guys made.
Well, that's why the band had such an original sound, because we didn't go in with preconceived notions. We didn't say, oh, we want to be like that band.
Yeah.
We just said, okay, you like this, I like this, let's throw it against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, totally. I think it's hard to do that, because, I mean, you do want to shoot for something, and it's hard to, you know, have, like,
just be creative. I mean, you have to really, I think, be creative.
And be open to, like, other people.
Oh, you know, I mean, I look at it like Alan's an amazing drummer. He still is. And I'm not going to tell him how to play drums. The guy, he can play drums so much better than I could ever imagine a drum beat to sound like. Why would I tell him what to do? And so many bands that I've been in to this day, you know, not the Beat Killers, though. I mean, so many other bands, people are actually telling me what bass lines to play, and I'm looking at them going, I could break 9 of my fingers and play that better than that. You know what I mean? You want to play that? You know what I mean? So it's just kind of funny, but I took the same approach with the Beat Killers. All the guys were all buddies, and my wife's in the band too. She plays keyboards. And we did the same thing. We're just like, okay, we're all equal partners here. Nobody gets any more publishing than anybody else. Nobody gets any more credit. We're all going to have a say. So if one person doesn't like something in the band, we don't do it. You know, everybody's got to be on board. And, you know, we're having a blast, you know. It's the only way that I think a band will last is if you respect each other and realize that you're nothing without the other members of the band.
Exactly. You know, don't lose sight of what it's all about. It's all about, you know, creating music that you love and jamming and having a great time.
Yeah, and the Beat Killers are just, they're a lot of fun. They really are. The singer is just a showman. He's like a little Mick Jagger. He's a little fireball. He's all over the stage. He's great. And the guitar player in the band he was my best man at my wedding, and he's a great songwriter. And the drummer's from Texas, so he might have been around when you guys went to that festival. He's from El Paso, but he goes to Austin a lot. He's got friends there. He used to play with Big Sandy, the rockabilly singer. He played Big Sandy for a while.
Right on.
May I ask, how did the Speedies get their start, especially with the members being so young?
Okay, well, the thing is, I was the last one to join the band. Okay. They were actually playing together for 6 months before I came along, and they were playing without a bass player. And they told me that they just, like Eric and Greg were friends from school, and I guess they all lived in the same neighborhood, and they started jamming together, and they just knew John Marino from the neighborhood because he was very outlandish, and you know, he was one of the first people to have pink hair. You know, we're talking about 1978, 77, 78. He's got pink hair, so he stands out. You know, and they just recruited him. They just recruited him to try out as a singer, and he has amazing stage presence, John Marino. He just really does. He's very commanding, and so. They were playing out, and they just, didn't even bother to stop to find a bass player. And once in a while, they would have Kenny Aronson would sit in with them. Kenny Aronson is a famous bass player. He's played with everybody from like Johnny Winter to Bob Dylan, and he's just like a studio guy. And he just happened to also live in the same neighborhood, so he agreed to help out and play with them. So they started getting all kinds of attention. And one day, I opened up the Soho News, and there's this story about this band called the Speedies, and it's just like saying how amazing they are and that they didn't have a bass player. And I'm like, you don't have a bass player? So I went down to see them at Max's, Kansas City. They were playing one night, and I collect guitars like crazy. And I had just come from buying a bass from somebody that I got out of the recycler, it was the Byline press back then. And so I had this bass with me, and I went to the show with my girlfriend at the time, and I saw them, and they were amazing. I thought they were just great. The crowd was so into it. And so I stood by the dressing room door waiting for them to come back, and I saw the first one I saw was Alan. And I said, dude, you guys need a bass player. I'm him. I'm your guy. He's like, well, you don't know the songs. You can't come up and play with us right now. And I was like, oh, I didn't mean right now. I just happen to have a bass with me. It's not like I'm trying to jump up on stage with you right now. But he started laughing, and he thought it was really cool that I actually had the, that I was forward enough to approach him like that. So he gave me his number, and I went around to his place. He actually rehearsed in the middle of his house in Brooklyn, and they loved me. First time I went down there, they said, okay, dude, you're in, and so we spent the whole summer rehearsing, and then we did that first gig together at the Mud Club, and it was I think it was September of '79, and it was a sold-out show, and it was packed, and it was great, because I immediately went from being like a nobody on the New York scene to all of a sudden getting into every club for free.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was fun. That's
a wonderful story.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for telling and sharing all of this with us.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you guys. I'm glad somebody remembers. It's nice. It's nice when you put your heart and soul into stuff. I mean, a lot of times you play and there's somebody sweeping up the floor and two people at the bar. It's nice when you're in something that people like and remember, and it means something. 30 years later. It's great.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's really cool. Well, thank you so much, John. Oh, bad connection. We might be losing you here. You still there?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Hey, did you guys record this by any chance?
Oh, well, we're live right now on air, and we'll send you a direct link to listen to the show. And you can always listen online style at www.kdvs.org.
Cool. All right, thank you so much, guys.
No problem. And also, John, check out the Treehouse radio show's MySpace. And we always post a blog with a direct link to our show, so you can always just press the hear button and listen.
Very cool. And keep me posted. When you hear of Power Pop Festival, try and get us in enough time where we can practice and be there for it.
Oh, definitely. We love Mike Hooker. We're friends with him, and so if we can help make that connection, we'll do anything we can for that. Definitely.
And I will send you the Beat Killer press kit. We don't have an actual physical CD yet, but I can burn you one.
All right.
You just put it out.
Hey, thank you. Yeah,
All right.
I'd love to play it for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. This means so much to us. Take care.
All right. Well, me too. I appreciate it.
Have a good night, John.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.